This episode is brought to you by Love Hurts. Kiwi Kwan has had quite a career, from childhood roles in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom and The Goonies to a recent Academy Award win for Everything Everywhere All at Once. But now Ki finally stars as a leading man in the film Love Hurts. Love Hurts is the perfect date night movie with its mix of over-the-top action, comedy, and a ton of heart. Love Hurts, only at theaters February 7th.
This episode is brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the date of the big game first before you accidentally buy tickets on your 20th wedding anniversary and have to spend the next 20 years of your marriage making up for it. Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
Be honest. When's the last time you had a homemade meal? We get it. Between meetings, workout classes, and the kids' after-school sports, who's got time to cook? That's where HelloFresh comes in. No matter how busy you get, HelloFresh has everything you need to get an easy, home-cooked meal on the table. With flavor-packed recipes like Parmesan herb-crusted salmon, you'll be filling your kitchen with the cozy aromas of a homemade meal in no time. So go ahead, try HelloFresh. It's homemade, made easy. Learn more at HelloFresh.com.
Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our Quick Publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hello and welcome to your weather-affected post-match Raw. I am your host for today, Guy Drinkel, and joining me, and only joining me, is Jim because, well, we've survived the weather. How are you doing, Jim?
I'm doing all right. I think, yeah, thanks to those guys over there keeping the West a bit away from us. We're here for it today, aren't we?
We are indeed, and we're here to discuss a 4-1 win over Ipswich, Jim. I mean, we come into this game, we see Ipswich, I think, was it 6-0 they got beat by Man City last weekend? You'd maybe think, oh, they might bounce back. Teams tend to play a bit better against Liverpool. And we've had these odd performances where games are a struggle against teams we're expected to beat. But it was kind of anything but that. It was, apart from maybe the last 10 minutes where we had Jadon Dance in midfield, it couldn't have been much an easier game, to be fair.
No, I think like you watch 89 minutes of it and you think, and that's like it's exhibition football for a lot of it. There's nothing to be scared of. It was it was like loads of little clips that you could put on a YouTube to sort of show kids how to do things. Even Ipswich were trying hard to defend. They just, considering they were behind, it was really late before they showed any ambition to try and get something back in the game. It felt like they were really on damage limitation until the end when I think they thought, oh, what the hell? And yeah, I mean, before the game I wrote down, it's one of those games you can go into thinking the job's already done, because of where they are in the table, because of how well you're playing. And it doesn't always work out that way. And I just said an early goal would be useful. And I think that was useful for us today. And I think what we saw at the tail end of the game is that little bit of a worry that you have about Liverpool, that they have still got vulnerabilities, that they can still be beaten, can still be scored against, I would say, rather than beaten. But, this tends to be when we've kind of, relaxed in a game rather than coming into a game already relaxed. So that's a bit of a change from maybe what we saw last season, because far too often last season we'd see Liverpool, in a game they should win, coming out and winning it, but not until they come back from behind once or twice. That doesn't seem to happen as much now. Has happened, obviously, but not as much. So yeah, it's been a weird season though, hasn't it, as well? It's just been so strange, because I'm thinking the only time we've lost at Anfield, the only time we've lost in the league is against Forest, and then we got the draw, and I thought that wasn't a bad draw considering where they are in the league. And then you see them today, 5-0, was it? Or it was last time I looked.
I think it was 5-0, yeah. And I think Bournemouth had a goal disallowed as well.
So, it's just been a mad season. It's disappointing we didn't have the clean sheet, I think, today. But if that's the only thing you're complaining about, and you've still got the points and you're still well ahead at the top of the table, I think you've got your job done. The complacency we might have been worried about didn't happen until the end when it didn't really matter.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think apart from maybe the start of 2025 where we've looked a bit sloppy in games, and that Forest game you mentioned, but that was very much a one-off at that time, complacency's just not been an issue. And I think today was just the uber, not perfect, as you say, but just uber professional performance that we all kind of wanted. And we kind of want to get back to expecting every weekend. Obviously, we've got Bournemouth next weekend, which looks like it might be one of our tougher games in the remainder of the season now, to be fair. But obviously the quality of opposition will go up from today. But I think today, there's nothing to complain about. I don't think any of our players probably dropped lower than 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10 if they had maybe Alisson, just because he had nothing to do until even Eddie made a couple of good saves at the end.
I was going to say, yeah, he did make that amazing save, particularly. So, I gave him an 8 in my head. Not that I've really done ratings, but I'd give him an 8 for that. But I am generous with my ratings, though.
That's fair. Let's get into the game then, as we do. I mean, the lineup's the lineup. I think the only real debate, especially with Jones now injured, is left back and striker. That seems to be the only debate now. And Diaz or Darwin's kind of a flip of a coin. Depends what you want from your number 9. And it's probably even more of a flip of a coin at left back. It's just the rotation, I think, nowadays. I mean, coming into the game, is there any people at Ipswich you'd maybe had a look at this season or noticed on Match of the Day or anything like that? Or is it just one of those sides that just not really tickled your interest at all this season?
It's one of those sides that's got a couple of players you think maybe they could be doing better than they are. Like Phillips is a player who's just been ruined, I think, by Manchester City, hasn't he? But you still think maybe there's still a player in there that they paid all that money for. But then again, you see Jack Grealish from time to time and remember that maybe that's not always going to be the case. But I think the name that kind of worried me was this new guy, I think, Philogene,
Yes.
Without even seeing him play, and I hadn't seen him play, it was just that thing. It's like, oh, right, they've just been beaten, we're about to play them, and they've just signed a new winger. And it tends to be wingers that undo us, isn't it? I'm just thinking of times when we've had, in games and like even in FA Cup games and things against lower sides that you might end up winning the game, but the hairy moments are usually by some winger. And that was the only real names that stood out to me, I would say. I don't know about yourself, or maybe you've done a bit more looking into it than me, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Liam Delap, who I thought was quite poor today, to be fair. I think he just kind of dived quite a bit. But he's had a really good season considering the side that Ipswich are. Omari Hutchinson looks like a decent player. But the player I was probably most interested by is Julio Enciso, who's just came on loan from Brighton and probably should have been sent off instantly for kneeing someone in the face. So we'll come on to that. But I'm really intrigued to see how he does for the remainder of the season. But yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. I think we had a lot of time we had this discussion about Luton last year. Like, if they stay up, it's like almost miraculous stuff. But if they go back down, and it's not really worked out for Luton like this because they're having a really bad season, but Ipswich, if they go back down, maybe do what Burnley did all those years ago and have another year in the Championship and then become an established Premier League side. So if that works out for them, I can see that. But there's a lot of young players there, but I'm not sure if there's a lot of ready-made Premier League players there. And I think you kind of saw that in the game because there was that one moment in the second half where I think Mo loses the ball and the Philogene tries to run away, and then all of a sudden Mo Salah's he's not even like breaking into a full sprint, he's just overtook him and took the ball from him. Like, yeah, that's kind of like an adult against a child right there.
That's what I was thinking, the lads be the dads sort of stuff when the kids are little and all the lads, until they get to the stage where the lads are beating the dads and running rings around them. But it's the same thing, isn't it? The gulf was massive between those two players. And as you say, is it Premier League level? I think the thing with teams like Ipswich is they've got to think longer term. So, like, do everything you can to get in the Premier League, but accept that you'll probably not stay there because that's what tends to happen. Do your best to stay there, but try and keep it sustained so that if you do come down, that you don't sort of upset the apple cart too much. You still got more, the same kind of quality that you had, so that you can get back up again, and maybe next time you'll get up there and stay there. But that's the difficulty, I think, with the Premier League. When you're down at that end of the table, the gulf is massive. It's not I know everyone's saying the gap's not as big, and I think the gap from the top to kind of just outside the relegation space isn't as bad as it used to be. You know, you've got some tough tests against teams that can be quite a way down, but once you get to a certain level, you know, the gulf's massive, and I think that's probably what's helped Everton survive so much. Because, with all due respect to Everton, you know, they haven't been great, but they have been, you know, they have been better than that level, almost, just about, and they've just about squeezed through each time and just about escaped. But yeah, that lot at the bottom, it's difficult for them. I'm not sure what we can do about that, other than enjoy days like today when you get to play against one of them. It's a long way to go back on a tractor as well, isn't it? I feel sorry for them.
Yeah, it's a long ass journey as well. Yeah, I think you're right. What you're saying there as well. Everton got a 7-point gap to Wolves now, who were in 17th, and they're on the same point as Ipswich. So it really seems free of the four. The promoted sides, and Wolves is going to be the relegation zone. And Wolves obviously bottling, being up against 10 men for quite a lot of the game today against Arsenal, which is always a joy.
Yeah, I didn't know. I saw that just at half time that they were down to 10, and I thought, oh, you know, you never know, maybe. It's frustrating because I think there's a good Wolves side in there somewhere, but they just lost all the confidence. Maybe they've sold too many.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of years ago, it'd be like Wolves is just literally one of those annoying fixtures where a draw would annoy you, but it won't be like season ending. Yeah. But yeah, they don't seem anywhere close to that anymore. It's a bit of a pain, but yeah, not great. But I do agree. I think the bottom of the Premier League and the gap between the Championship is kind of growing every year. Apart from there's always that crisis club. That was like Forest and Everton and Wolves in recent years.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's going to be tough to get back in the Premier League and establish yourselves like a Brentford or a Brighton in kind of recent years, I think. Into the game then, we were kind of joking before we put the mics on, or mics live, I should say, that a lot of our notes were basically, this is just kind of us having the ball. And to be fair, the first note of interesting, Gakpo has a shot from distance, fair enough. First 7 minutes, we're just dominating the ball. And then Robbo has to do a bit of defending, and then we score. I mean, it's a lovely finish from Szoboszlai. Konate in the first half an hour just fancied being a bit of Joel Matip crossed with Van Dijk playing balls through the lines, which I think Arnie Slot name-checked, to be fair, as something he can improve on, so that was nice to see. But Szoboszlai, it's a lovely finish, Jim, and if you want to discuss the midfielder himself as well, because he's had I'll say strange Liverpool career, but I don't think it has been strange. I think it's mostly been good. It's just, I think when we signed him last year, people were expecting this, I don't know, Gerrard regen. That might be the wrong way to look at it. But I think people are starting to appreciate him a bit more, maybe because he was missing for a few games and we started dropping points. But I think he does bring something unique to this side. And if he can start adding more goals like he did today, and even the end product today, I think, was a bit better overall, obviously. But yeah, the goal and what you thought of Dom so far in a Liverpool shirt.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I think as well, there was just one moment just before that, about 6 minutes in, when Virgil was down for a little bit too long.
Yes.
But I've got the feeling he was doing that because he should have had a foul, because he made sure he was up before there was any need for him to be up. And then next time he got the ball, it was like it never happened. So, but that was one worry I would say I had early on. But yeah, Dom, I mean, we've hyped him up because he has these good moments, and when you see these good moments, you expect them every game. But there's only so many players, I think, in the world who can be like that almost every game. Even Mo Salah, you know, we go on and rave on about Mo Salah, but Mo Salah's not at his best every single game, or at least that's what I would have said maybe before this season. I'm not so sure now. This season he's almost been at his best every game, or at least in enough of a game for it to make a difference. But also what wouldn't about Dom at times, and he's doing it a bit at the minute, but it doesn't affect him now because he's playing so well. He has that sort of look of a bit like he's in between hairstyles. I mean, I know it's not something I've got experience of myself, but he's in between hairstyles. Looks a bit like he's growing it out a little bit. It looks a bit unkempt. He's not had a shave and that. And sometimes that can look, you know, that can kind of not look great for a player. They're not doing so well, and then they look like that. Kind of looks like they can't be asked. But it's unfair, really. And we kind of all these little things, all these little cues that we pick up. But mostly what we pick up is on how they play. And I think just at times he's just not. he's not been up at that same level that we've expected of him, that we've seen of him. And when you've seen that, you kind of want it every week. I also think there's been times when he's not been 100% fit and he's played games, and that doesn't help you. But I've seen this season, he's really come into himself. He's, maybe having that fact that he's in a bit of competition, if you like, because it kind of is between him and Jones, who gets to play a game. And at the moment, he's edging Jones, but then there'll be times when Jones just starts racing ahead. And the two of them, he's doing both of them the power of good to have that competition. Because I don't think either of them are going to push McAllister out the side, and I don't think Gravenberch is going anywhere because of the position he's playing and the way he's been.
Gravenberch's never not starting a game again.
It's not, he's the only one on the team sheet who's actually written on in Sharpie rather than a wipe away pen. And this is the thing. I think this competition makes a difference, and I think I've thought this about the front men as well. When there's so many players vying for a place in that side, you get the best out of them because. Mo apart, none of them could really think of themselves as guaranteed starters. We can kind of predict a lineup, as you said at the start. We kind of knew who we knew Mo was going to be in, but you do wonder, could Cody be made to make way for Diaz playing out wide? Will Nunez come in instead of Diaz playing central, or will Diaz play central? At the moment, Gakpo has to start the way he's been playing. Mo obviously has to start, so he just leaves that one central spot, which you think. When Jota's fit and well, he's going to take that back again. And but the thing is, there is this competition, and as soon as you sort of ease off, you lose it. And I think Dom today, it was just one of his best games. Certainly in the early part of the game, it wasn't as noticeable as later on in the game. But until he went off, I think the fact he went off at 60 tells you a lot as well. He's one of the players that the manager wants to keep hold of, wants to keep the best of, keep him rested. Maybe a sign that. He does need that rest from time to time, but the goal itself, I just love the way that if someone like Mo had done that, we'd be just raving on about it, wouldn't we, for ages? Just the way he just sort of found that ability to just get past his man, move himself into a little bit more of a central spot, into some space, and just found the net. He just guided it right into the corner. The keeper's always going to struggle to get one of those. And I think this is what we need more of from him. Some people kind of argue, some people kind of put him as one of the front four, don't they, when they're sort of saying what the lineup is. I still think of him as a midfielder. He's not, he's not one of the front men, so to speak, but you expect goals from that position. You expect players to be banging goals in because the strikers don't always get them. And that's what we need more of from him. And I would say from Jones as well. We need more goals off the pair of them. But that was just so well taken today. And I think, it's a good little, a bit of a reward for what we've seen from him this season. I think we've seen a much better Dom this season. And I'm sure that's in large part down to Arne Slot and his team just sort of going through with him, making little tweaks and making little suggestions and, making sure he understands what he's doing right, but just looking at little ways he can do certain things better. And this attention to details, what's, I think, going to stand Liverpool in good stead as this season goes on. Because you think about it, it's still only half a season with this manager and his coaching staff with these players. But every week that goes by, there's something new to learn from and something new to work on, and that's actually making us better.
Yeah, absolutely so. Absolutely so. And if you think I think Jones might miss midweek, but you'd expect maybe re-rotating that a little bit anyway.
Oh, and just before I forget as well, the ball through to Dom was from Canate. That was a lovely little ball through, a little gap to get it through to him. And that made the goal, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of what you want to see a bit more from Ibu, because I think, as I mentioned, Slot name check. I think they were talking about how Ibu could get to Van Dijk's level, and he talked defensively. He's definitely already at that level. It's just about on-ball stuff that we see Van Dijk makes him the complete package, obviously. And yeah, if he does more of that, and he obviously does it again 30 seconds later, which will come on sick. But yeah, it was just a really nice pass. But we'll move on to that. 10 seconds later, after the kickoff, Mo gets a half chance. He probably should have squared it, to be honest. But again, settled by Ibu, passing through the lines that you kind of want to see. Mo, I think Mo's just very desperate to keep scoring goals and breaking records. He should have passed it. But I don't know what commentary you had, but I had Stephen Warnock, which is never fun.
Yeah, sadly. And I tried to find a way around it, but I couldn't.
Yeah, and the first thing he said is greedy Mo Salah, and you're like, hasn't he got the most assists in the Premier League this year? Yeah. It's like, what is going on here? It's just, I don't get it. But, yeah, I mean, there's that pass from Ibu, and Moore should probably square it, as I say. A couple of minutes later, Szoboszlai has a lovely little lobbed pass over a couple midfielders to Gakpo, and then that gives it to Gakpo, and then he sets up Moore for a chance to dribble at Leif Davis. And then Ipswich get a corner. Alisson gets fouled. It's probably a bit soft, to be fair to them. Good midfield play by McAllister and Dom. McAllister shoots wide. And then Wes Burns, unfortunately, looks like he's buggered his knee, and there's like a long, I think there was 7 minutes added time, but it felt longer than that, to be fair.
Yeah, and he looked quite innocuous, didn't it?
Yeah, it was like just a little clash of knees, wasn't it, really? It didn't look like a ACL or anything, but hopefully it's nothing too serious. But yeah, he looked in agony, and obviously when the stretcher comes on, you kind of always wince a little. But yeah, we have obviously a bit of a break for about 5 to 10 minutes there. We're just kind of playing well. I think the attack wasn't obviously deadly because there wasn't loads of chances, but I think the midfield was fantastic in this first 20 minutes. And for the entire game, to be fair, but this first 20 minutes, I think Szoboszlai and McAllister especially were basically on fire.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouthwatering meals. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices. Plus, extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with points. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
I don't need a VPN. I've got nothing to hide. Ha. This is what I used to tell myself before I hooked up with LibertyShield.com. Not only is my home internet now fully encrypted, but I can now access all the websites I want, whenever I want, and do so from absolutely anywhere. As a Liverpool fan, I love to know I can now watch every match, regardless of whether it's on UK TV or not. My Liberty Shield VPN makes sure nothing is blocked and guarantees me super fast streaming speed throughout that match. You can get connected right now with their software package, which includes a 48-hour no-obligation free trial and instant access to their apps for Apple, Android, Fire TV, PC, Mac and Android TV. Or go a step further like I have and get one of their pre-configured VPN routers. These small but powerful devices allow you to easily connect every device in your home to VPN, making it the perfect solution for smart TVs, Mac boxes, and games consoles. Visit LibertyShield.com today and use coupon code AIVPN25 to get 25% off at checkout.
Yeah, there was times when McAllister was, the way he was winning the ball back when they did get the ball, the way he was winning it back and doing something sensible with it. And I mean, look, I hate to quote him, but it was quite a good thing. He actually said, it's like he's got Velcro on his feet later on in the game. But yeah, certainly early on in the game. I mean, just before that issue with Wes Burns, he won the ball off Delap, who just fell over.
Yeah.
And then I think he went towards goal and had a shot and dragged it wide. But throughout the game, this is what you saw from him. Just that determination and, the strength in him, the skill in him, the intelligence of him as a player. I mean, we just bigged up Dom, but I mean, and this is no disrespect to Dom, but, Mac's on another level, isn't he?
Yeah, he really is. He really is. I think McAllister had kind of a quietish start to the season, but I think now he's just, again, with Gravenberch, you'd put his name in permanent marker as well on the team sheet, and nobody'd blink an eye. After the injury, Ibu has to defend a little bit. Might have been a foul. I think that was just in the corner. Moore has a lovely run, tries to skin a few people. And then 34 minutes, lovely finish by Moore. It's a smashing cross by Gakpo. It's just a lovely team goal. The cross is fantastic. It's a lovely touch from Moore, and then just kind of smashes it in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm funnily enough, I just written down just before that about Mo dribbling into the area and maybe should have passed. And as you say, there's definitely a feeling. I'm starting to wonder if there's something to do with him getting a new contract, if he gets a certain number of goals or assists or something. I don't know. His determination is amazing, and it's good to see. And the more we see that, the better. Because even when we think he should have passed, the thing is, he's still frightening the life out of those defenders, and he's still making things happen and causing danger that can lead to things. And as you say, in that goal, it was Cody's cross, wasn't it? And it was just floated so well, and it just missed everyone. There was a couple of their defenders. I'm not sure. I'm guessing it was Diaz was in there as well. And it was just bent round in such a way. And Salah, he's still got to get sort of behind those defenders, hasn't he? He's still got to get near to those. They all sort of lost out on him. He's at least for like a yard away from them. He just controls it and back of the net, and it wasn't. Wasn't an easy angle to shoot from either, was it? And he did, and he just got it on target. And it's just one of those, he looks effortless. I think that's the thing now with Mo this season. Definitely not like he was last season, when I think we all would agree he was struggling at times last season. This season, he's just gone back to where he can make everything look so easy. And I'm sure as the game goes on, we'll use things like exhibition football, and it was like playing a friendly, and, as we've said, adults v kids and all the rest of it. And he's the biggest side of that. He's playing, in the middle of a Premier League game. It runs, such a fast game, such a sort of fast league. And the way he sort of just makes everything seem to be as if he's got all the time in the world to do it, as if there's no one coming at him, as if he's not got to worry about, getting the ball on target good, he's been hit fast or whatever it is. It does feel like he slows time down. It was a tight angle. But it just felt like it was coming. We'd had that little spell where we were attacking really well. They were defending quite well. Excuse me. To be fair to them, turning to Sean Dyche for a minute then, they were defending well, to be fair to them, which I think I'd have been frustrated as an Ipswich fan that you were defending that much when you're behind. But I get it, maybe just keep the score down for a bit. So they were defending well. But we seem to be getting better at finding ways around these, half-decent defences. And that's one of the ways, a ball like that, it doesn't matter who's in defence. I think the way he sort of set that ball in, it was like, it was literally sort of like on a sixpence kind of thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was. It really was. A word on Gakpo while we're here. You obviously get to go later on, but we might as well bring him up here. I think it's been a massive turnaround, because I think obviously playing as the 9, under Klopp for his entire tenure before this season, I think he's almost a player transformed. Like, I think he had some really good spells as the number 9 for under Klopp, but as a left winger, I think he's just looked so much more comfortable, so much more impactful. Because when he was a 9, like he sometimes he'd be fine in games, and he'd obviously get a decent amount of goals, but when he's in the left, it's just always involved, and we've seen his dependency in getting goals and assists this season.
Yeah, I don't know. I agree. I mean, I think we saw in the summer when he was playing for the Dutch that playing out wide was a good spot for him, a good position for him. And I think, we've seen sort of some moving around of our front men the last couple of years. We had a spell, didn't we, where maybe a game or two where we thought about maybe Salah could go in because Diaz had played well on the right when he'd been used, and we've seen Diaz playing in the centre, and he's one who can play across all three. And I think Darwin's had some good moments out on the left as well when he's played for us, sometimes out wide. He's done well on that side, and I think maybe that was deliberate by Klopp a little bit to stop people thinking of him as an Andy Carroll type person. I don't know, just give him a different look. But Cody, this seems to be his best position by a long way. Just that ability to sort of see what's going on in front of him, to be able to get in. He can cross the ball well, as we've just explained. But he's also able to get in, and when there is a cross coming in, he's quick, he's fast, and he can be in there getting his head to the ball too. And I just think, I think obviously Slot's probably got. He can talk his language literally. And again, what I was saying before about just with Dom and with other players, just tweaking what they can do already, just giving them advice, just playing to their strengths. And improving what they already can do. He's very skillful. He's very strong. Very much a team player as well. I think you see I mean, when he sort of laughed a little bit about Mo with the not passing the ball as much as he should, I think Cody's more likely to pass the ball. And he's full of confidence as well at the moment. You can see that because, I mean, early on, I think half a minute in, he'd had a shot that went over, but he wouldn't have had that shot if he didn't feel confidence in himself, that he was able to pull these things off and score with them. I'm not sure Arnie likes that kind of thing unless you're sure you can score. He doesn't want to give the ball away. But yeah, he's been like a new player for us. And even without a change of manager, that can happen. It can take a while for a player to fully settle in, fully feel, get on their feet and feel part of everything. And again, what I mentioned earlier on as well about competition, he's one player that knows that if he's not performing, there's other players who'll come in and take his place. And I think this is, it's not because Darwin's not been performing great in the middle, and it's not because Jota's missing from the middle, and so we've had to throw Diaz in the middle. I don't think Cody's necessarily ending up as like someone who's just slotting in because we've not got a middle player, if you like, of the first two you'd expect to play there. And I don't think it's just because Diaz can play in the middle. I think it's because Cody's so good on the left. At times, I'm not sure if Diaz is the best player to play in the middle. But I think for Diaz to play, that might be where he has to play now, because I honestly think Cody's got to be getting into that situation now where he is one of our first choice players in that position. That's his strength. That's where he does the damage. We've talked about maybe Mo playing in the middle from time to time, but Mo's at his most dangerous when he's out in that right wing position, doing what he does best, doing what he's done for years. And I think this is what we've got. We've almost got a bit of symmetry now. I mean, they are slightly different, but in terms of the threat on either side, fullbacks are worried playing against us at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Mo gave Leif Davis a tough game as well in the first half as well. I mean, let's just go to the next game, next goal, and the next game, to be fair. Next goal, to be fair. I mean, because the 8 minutes or so in between the goals, it was just us keeping the ball, kind of probing and being patient, which is kind of the key word for the day. But 42 minutes, Gakpo taps home after some lovely work by McAllister in midfield. He wins the ball. Grav makes a nice run up the right, plays it through. Dom has a shot. It's a nice save by Walton, to be fair, and it just unfortunately falls to Gakpo for him. But yeah, we were just kind of rampant at this time, and I think quite a lot of people were maybe thinking, let's do 5 subs at half time then. Yeah. But that probably would have been a bit disrespectful, to be fair. But yeah, we make it 3-0. Well, not just before half time because there was 7 minutes added time, but yeah, a really nice team goal. I know I mentioned a name check Szoboszlai and McAllister there, but I think Gravenberch, he's kind of been a topic of discussion the last couple of weeks, and obviously a couple tired-ish looking performances. I wouldn't say bad performances, just maybe a bit tired at times. But today, I think he looked really good. I think he was leggy. Leggy's the wrong word. He was full of running, powerful running, quality on the ball. Maybe not as involved as the other two midfielders, but he's showing his quality in this goal. And it was a fantastic ball in from the right.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those games, isn't it, against this opponent where maybe he's not going to be as noticeable because his role is more, in a lot of ways, is about what he does when there's other sides trying to actually attack against us, and they didn't really want to do much of that today. But when he's needed, up he comes. And I think, I mean, just before that, I'd written down LFC patient again. And you're right, it's the word of the day. I need to find some synonyms for it because we're going to keep saying it. Just waiting until the time's right. It was, I mean, and by this point, Ipswich were just, they were defending, they were blocking, they were stopping us getting it into the goal maybe, but it was never being cleared too far away. They were getting, when they won the ball, they weren't keeping it. It was more, they were just sort of stopping us moving forward for a little bit, and we'd just come back again. And it was just relentless from us by this stage. There was still no intention for them to really come forward and attack us. And it was only a matter of time, I think, before we took them off again. And it was, I think it was McAllister who found Gravenberch, and then that could have been Dom's goal. It was a good save, and he's unfortunate. But I mean, this is the thing we always say about having shots on goal. If you have the shot, the goalkeeper might spill it, it might deflect, it might rebound off someone, and he might be there again for you to have another goal with, and that's what's happened here. And there's no messing. And I think after we just talked about how good he is. As a wide player, there's still that sort of poacher in him as well, isn't there? That he can just pounce on a chance like this. He knows there's a chance that whatever happens, Dom might not get to it, that it might rebound, it might deflect, and he's just making sure he's in there ready to pick up the pieces if there are any. And I think that was it. That was, at that point, if there was such a thing in football where you could throw the towel in, I genuinely think Ipswich would have done at that point. Obviously, no, that's not going to happen in football, but I think that was just the point where, after what's happened to them last week as well, they tried to change things again this week. It's like, because I believe they played 3 at the back against City. So they changed things up a bit this week, but still just no answer for Liverpool. And I'm being fair to Ipswich, it's not all down to them. It's easy to say, oh, it's just Ipswich, but I honestly think that we showed, and for 89 minutes, we showed a really professional performance. And, we're going to keep going at you. We're going to keep doing what we do. We're going to keep the patient stuff going on. We're not going to start pissing about now because we're 2-0 up, and we're not going to start taking stupid shots that we don't need to. On the whole, it was the same sensible approach to things, which I think Slot was quoted last week about how his dad's not too keen on that side. It's not as exciting to watch and things like that because he doesn't want us playing difficult balls or stupid balls, as Slot calls them. But this is the thing, we kept this professionalism up, just kept playing the way that's brought us success this season. Because the thing is, I don't want to sort of imagine it, but you can't guarantee we're going to win every game till the end of the season. And if it does come down to goal difference in the end, these are the games where you get your goal difference up. And even if it doesn't come down to goal difference, I think it sends that message out to other sides. When you look at the league table, you sort of do have a glance at goal difference as well as points. And that kind of gives you an idea where everybody is. Forest are only on 6 goal difference, which probably suggests maybe they shouldn't be third, although that's taken a big hammer in today. But, we're on 33. And when you look at the top half of the table, the nearest to us on that is Arsenal on 23, and they've played a game more than us. That goal difference is just sending out an extra message. And we've got that today by not messing about for 89 minutes, for playing professionally and for just being patient and knowing that when you're patient like that, sooner or later the chances will come.
Hey guys, it's Eddie Gibbs from Anfield Index here. I hope you're enjoying this podcast, and I'm sorry to call time on the show before it ends. In the current climate, it's tougher than ever before to offer podcasts for free. At Anfield Index, we produce over 75 free shows every month, which I'm confident is unparalleled in the LFC sphere. Whilst we'd love to offer everything for free, the production costs now make this impossible. That said, we don't want to follow the model of other channels and lock all of our content behind a paywall. So what we've decided to do is to continue offering every show for free, but cut that offering to 30 minutes on our longer shows. So to get all of our shows in full and enjoy the best of everything we have to offer, we really hope you'll consider supporting the channel and signing up at AnfieldIndexPro.com. For about the price of 1 cup of coffee, you'll get every podcast in full with 0 ads. You'll also get access to our LFC VIP community, where you can enjoy live podcasts, engage with our podcasters, and chat with other Reds in real time. So that website again, AnfieldIndexPro.com. Join today.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
If you're a facilities manager at a university, you know students rely on the cafeteria for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and the occasional late-night snack. So when a dishwasher breaks down and dirty plates pile up, the mess hall can turn messy in the blink of an eye. Enter Grainger. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast delivery, the product you need now is never far away. So you can turn that dishwasher back into a lean, clean washing machine. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.